Are we up? Okay, let me turn this off. There we go. Hi, everybody. Hello. Let me see if I can get this thing to adjust a little bit. So you're going to be able to see me properly. Okay, we're back. So I'm making cabbage today, and I'm just here in the kitchen. So I don't know if you can see me properly. I got a little hat on my head. Still got my sweater on from yesterday and my pajamas that you can't see. But I've got this cabbage here. I've got some melted onions that I cooked, and some mixed vegetables, and some um, pork bones. I don't know what type of smoked pork bones they are, but anyway, I put them in some butter and got them stewing over here on the kitchen. So those are going now. I'll show you that in a minute. And then this is the cabbage that I'm cutting. I'm not going to eat this whole cabbage because it's just me making it. I'm making a soup, a cabbage soup for myself, and I love cabbage soup. And it's so cold, and I'm still dealing with a scratchy, sore kind of a throat. And so I think this soup will help me. Now, this is something that I've not never done before, is that I put a little bit of Moscato into my cabbage to give it a little bit of a extra flavor and to calm my nerves. And so I'll show you the bottle. I need to go to the liquor store and buy some more because I'm running out. But it's this brand right here that I'm drinking, Light Creek. And so it's a California wine. And I've had this oil. And so gives you an idea. So I'm going to pour probably about maybe that much into my cabbage soup just to give it a little bit of a flavor, wineish flavor. I've never done it before, but I figured it probably tastes really good and it'll calm my nerves. Considering I'm like, paranoid as hell during this pandemic. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm going to cut the cabbage now and wash it. I've got a really big stock pot to cook with. So this is my mom's old stock pot that I'm using. I need to order some new, stock pots and things myself. So just wanted to show you that. Just take the lid off. I don't need that anymore. And how's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a happy Monday. I've already took the trash out to the road with the dogs. So they got the walk this morning, got all of them fed. The puppies are sleeping, so I'm able to talk right now. They'll probably wake up in a little bit, but while they're sleeping, I can come on here and chit chat for a minute. And so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this. I'm going to move it down so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can move this down over here. Here, because you just don't have to sit there and stare at me. There we go. Wait a minute, it's moving. Sorry. Let me just unplug this. There we go. Now it should stay pretty. There we go. So this is the back side of the cabbage right here, and I'm just going to cut it this way. And it should be a really good cabbage soup. I've had this cabbage for probably 4 days. I just was too lazy to really take the time out to cut this. I need to cut that butt off. Because that part is so annoying. So I got rid of that part right there. Now it should be easier to cut through. And so I'm only going to use half the cabbage. I'm not going to cook the whole cabbage. And what I'll do is I'll put this in the freezer for a few days and then come back and cut it and make some more soup. And I've done this before, so I know it works. So if you want to try this soup, you can. It's a pretty good sized cabbage. It should come out really good. Like, I'm excited to have some cabbage soup, and I'm going to add a lot of stuff to it so I have a really good flavor. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pinch of cornstarch to this. And so just trying to press all the air out of this so it'll stay nice and fresh and sealed up. Because, I don't want it to get freezer taste or smell. So you have to push all the air out of the bag as much as you can. These are really cheap freezer bags that I got at Walmart. So I'm just making sure. And I'm just going to go throw this in the freezer. I'll be right back. So if you're just joining me, I am making a cabbage soup. Princess Ariel M. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And so basically, you're in my kitchen, and I'm prepping this just to make cabbage soup. And so I'm just looking at the leaves to make sure there's no, that are not withered or whatever that need to be thrown away. So I'm just going to cut down through here again. So I cut it in half, and then I'm cutting it from the center in half. So I have these pieces here. And then I'm just going to cut it into another half here. And usually for me, I just leave it like that, and I just separate it a little bit and throw it in there, and then this will melt all the way down. If this is enough for me. You might want to cut it a little bit more. It depends on, how you want to do yours, but this is enough cutting for me. And I'm just going to stick this over here. I'll use this pot. It's in the sink. And then I'm just going to separate the pieces like that before I start washing it. And I'm just going to rinse over it just one time just to kind of make sure I get the little, sand and dirt. A gritty soup. And sometimes these can have a little grit on there. And so that's how I did that. And yeah, these looks pretty good. So I'm just separating it and putting it into the pot. Then I'm going to wash it. Just kind of rinse it a little bit. These are really pretty green leaves. I want to try to grow some cabbage this year if I can get the garden going. My brother's been trying to, he keeps saying year after year he's going to help me work on them. See, you can see the grit in here. That's what I'm talking about. Look very closely. See all that grimy grit? That's dirt. So you have to wash all that off. So I'm just going to rinse that a little bit before I even put that in the stock pot. And if you're just joining and tuning in, I'm making a cabbage soup, and it is going to be yummy. It's a very cold day in Arkansas, and I'm just cutting these leaves and putting them into the pot to be washed, and then I'm gonna um, go ahead and add the roux and everything that I've got over in the skillet to the stock pot with the cabbage. And I'm gonna pour Moscato, throw in some extra seasonings, and then once I get the pot boiling really good, I'll add just a pinch of cornstarch to thicken it. So I want kind of not a thick soup, but I don't want it just runny soup. I want just had a little bit of thickness to it, like a tablespoon or a teaspoon, more or less. Hold on, I'm just trying to see what the dog is barking at. And yeah, this is a little grimy, so I'm gonna have to wash this. Whenever you have these cabbages, sometimes they have a little dirt on them. And if you don't want to have dirt in your soup, you just wash these and rinse them pretty good before you add all your ingredients to make the soup. And so I'm just separating the leaves so they cook down pretty fast. And I'm adding a little bit of wine, Moscato wine, to this roux. I've never added Moscato to it, but Moscato tastes good with everything. You know, if you like that type of sweet wine. I am a sweet wine. It's the California wine that I'm using. In this cabbage, I'm just gonna bend down here. You kind of see me how I don't, I don't know how to do this broadcast any better than this, but I'm rinsing the grime off of the. Let me put this up. You see that in my pot? So I'm rinsing it now, and you just take your hands and just kind of push it around a little bit, and that helps get the dirt and sediment out of it. If you have a colander with holes in it, you can pour this down into the colander and the grit should just come right on through. But these did have a little bit of dirt on them, and I don't like a grimy, gritty soup. I don't want dirt in my soup. It's at least dirt as possible. And I have this little colander here. This is my mom's old colander. I need to order a new one and a bigger one. Um, but I'm just gonna rinse that in here. All the sponge and everything in the way. And so if any little pieces fall out of there, it's fine. And I'm just gonna rinse it one more time just to make sure I get all the dirt out. Sorry, we got a jinky setup over here. I'm gonna rinse it one more time just to make sure I get the excess dirt out. There we go. Here we go. It's the last time. Okay, so I'm gonna put those little pieces back in there. I'll set this over to the side and wash that in a little bit. Now, this is the onions. I had some leftovers Southwestern corn mix. And there's a lot of like just melted onions in here. These are like pork neck bones that were smoked. So this will add the flavor to the pot. And what I do is I'm just gonna pour this over in here like this. Just dump it over in there. Doesn't have to go any special way. And, let me get something to get this off. I'll just use this as a slide off. Get all of the mixture of veggies in there that you want. This is onions and corn and a little bit of bell peppers, green and red bell pepper. And I cooked all this in a butter margarine, so it'll have a little buttery, winey, smoky taste. So it should be a really interesting soup full of flavor. I hate bland soup. I like my soups to have flavor. Let me set this over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some seasoning, just some Creole seasoning. And then I'll add the wine. And then I'll add a little bit of water. And then we'll go ahead and get this boiling. This one here, I'll show it to you, is a Creole seasoning that I use. It's by Zatarain. You can get it at Walmart. You probably can get this at Kroger's or any grocery store. It's Zatarain's Creole seasoning. This is one of my go-to seasonings that I use. Now, I do have some other seasonings other than this brand, but we won't go into all of that because I'm not using those today. But I did want to share this with you. This is the seasoning that I'm going to add a little bit more of a flavor to my roux. So we're going to just put a little bit in there, go all around the pot with it, and that's going to help add flavor as well. We're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of wine because I want to make sure that it really infuses all the flavors together and I have a really nice, delicious, smooth cabbage soup. So I'm just going to twist this around. It's easier for me to do it with the bottle than the other thing. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to pour a generous amount in there. I'm not trying to fill it up or anything like that, just for flavor. So just think of it as you're pouring wine for extra flavor. And you're just going to go over the leaves and everything with this as well. There we go. So just give a little bit more. That's good. Let's just put this back on here. Love cooking with wine. I never did it before until COVID hit last year and I started just like my nerves got so bad. At one point I was shaking and I was like, you know, you got to do something to settle your nerves. So whenever I get worried or something like that, I just have a little wine. And that helped calm my nerves down. So we're in our winter season. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this. And we'll get it boiling because, I mean, this is pretty much all it takes to make a soup. Some people add, you know, other ingredients and stuff to their soup. Some people don't add hardly anything to their soups, depending on your diet and, you know, what your comfort level is as far as salt and oils and things of that nature. You may not want to eat a soup like this, but this is how I do my soups. And that's why I just, you know, this is how I was taught to make soups and everything. And I just add stuff over the years that I like to add to it. Just there's no one way to make a soup or cook a soup or something like that. You understand? And so this is all my cleaning supplies, bug killer spray, all kinds of stuff up here. You know, because this is a very old house. I'm not playing around with no bugs. So I keep everything up here with me at arm's reach, and down below too I have extra for reinforcements. Because I ain't dealing with no critters, creatures, or habit. Because I live in the woods, and the woods lives here too. Like, and I'm not playing with nothing. No raccoons, no nobody. Y'all don't come up in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the stove and get it cranked up. I'm gonna go take a shower and put some clothes on. I gotta run some errands today, so I'll probably come back and do a car chat when I hit the road later on today. And so gonna throw all of this out. This is just trash. And compost that. All right. Okay, so hold on, here we go. 1 second. Here I am. Kind of. So that's going to be it for this broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you for joining me. I was just making cabbage soup. And I thought I'd come on and share with you guys how I make my cabbage soup and keep warm. So I'm going to go and take a shower now and get ready for the day. And I'll probably come back when I get to the car later on and do a car chat. All right. All right. Bye, everybody.